Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. So it's been, I'd say I recorded this original video back in August, September, something like this, and it's now end of April the next year. Um, it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be to go back, rewatch, and edit the video, but I will say that I do remember that particular day and that particular night. And so, yeah, it's interesting to have to go back and edit this, but I think it's necessary so that you guys can understand, at the very least, of what it's like to be in a depressive state. Um, I will say that right now my cycle is in a really good area. I'm not in the downslope. I'm more in an upslope right now. And so hopefully you guys can either learn something from this or share it with someone who can learn something from this. I will say this though, be very sensitive. If you are not the one dealing with depression, be sensitive to those who are. Don't just share it and say, hey, you need this, kind of be the friend that you would want, So that being said, here's the video. So this is depression cycle, I guess, day 6. Yesterday was a bad day. I mean, it did okay most of the day yesterday. I'm gonna get comfortable, guys. So yesterday was okay. I did well in the morning, midday, I did well. One thing that you guys should know about depression cycles is that while we hold it together very well in public most of the times, it comes to a point sometimes where you just can't anymore. So most of the day went well. Had a late practice. I was doing okay, and then we needed to eat something. We didn't have much of anything that wouldn't take 45 minutes to cook at home when we got home, so we decided we were going to go eat, and then I figured let's maximize the trip out and go to Publix and get some groceries so that we wouldn't have to go out and eat. And so, I mean, let's just put it this way. There was only so much more I could handle that day. Sunday took a lot out of me. Normally, I relax and chill and whatnot after I preach. I didn't get to do that on Sunday. And then Monday was full of things to do. And so, really, for me to manage my depression and to manage my anxiety when I'm in the off cycle, I, as an introvert, and some of you may identify with this, as an introvert, in order to recharge my batteries and recharge my life, essentially, I need to have 30 to 45 minutes of me time each day, right? So, I mean, I'm furloughed right now, so, I'm home all day, and I haven't had the need to take the 30 minutes because I get a whole day to myself, essentially. But 2 days in a row of having to be on, having to be present, it took a lot, and I was really struggling internally. And then there was some other things that popped up where I just finally said, I can't hold it together. Like, I'm doing my best to hold it together, and I can't anymore. And I just kind of snapped. I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I sat in the car, I cried. We still had to go out in public. And so I was like, okay, I gotta pull myself back together. And as a depressed person, you learn some skills. Sorry about the camera, you guys. You learn some skills, you learn some tricks to pull yourself together in a very quick moment, because as an introverted, depressed person, you don't want to draw the extra attention to yourself. You don't want people to say, hey, look, what's wrong with you? You don't want to go through that. You don't want to answer the questions. You don't want to deal with it. So I had to do one of those out of body, not in a weird spiritual way, but more of just kind of removing myself mentally from my situation. Pull myself together. One of the fake it till you make it items, you know, for the time that we were in public, and then I came home, and I had to take time to myself. So I've been working on a puzzle, and you guys are going to see that on my channel. I may already have it posted. I'm not sure yet, just because of when I'm going to post this video. I've been working on a 2,000 piece Disney puzzle over the last week and a half, and I just sat down and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna zone out. I turned on the TV. I put on something that was really easy to zone out with, which was like Home Alone 3. I've seen it millions of times, especially as a child, and I just kind of put it on and let it go. I started working on the puzzle. I think this was like 9:30, 10 o'clock. No, it was 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock at night, I started. And by the time I called it quits, not because I was tired, but because I knew if I didn't stop, I would be very unsatisfied when I got to the end of the puzzle. And that's just how I am. Puzzles are important to me in a way. They're very nostalgic, but for me, puzzles hold many different meanings for me. And this particular puzzle at this particular time in my life, this season, I guess, I don't want to go too deep with you guys, but, if I'm not in the right frame of mind when I finish a puzzle, if I'm not in a satisfied frame of mind, where I'm not in the valley of a depressed state, finishing this puzzle in particular, if I'm not in the right frame of mind, it's not going to be satisfying. It's going to be frustrating, and it's going to make it even worse. I'm going to look for something to replace the puzzle. So I ended up, by the time I finished, it was like 3:30. 3:30 in the morning. And oh man, I mean, I didn't finish the puzzle. I stopped, but to work on something, to zone out from 10:30 to 3:30 in the morning, it's 5 hours. 5 hours to purposefully zone out. Like, I know it's not something to be ashamed of, because that's my process and that's kind of how it works with me. But it for me, it is, I feel a little ashamed that I spent 5 hours zoning out on a puzzle and a movie. No, actually it was 3 movies. It was 3 movies. I got halfway through the 3rd movie, and I was like, you know what, I've got to stop. And so, I'm not doing these particular videos as a way to get sympathy or empathy. I want you guys to realize what people who have a mental illness, or people who have depression, or people who have anxiety, or people who suffer with PTSD, I want you guys to understand what we go through on a daily basis, in the struggle that it is to function. Right now, I'm getting ready to go to an appointment. I probably would not have left my bedroom today if I didn't have this appointment today. So I will say there is a necessity when it comes to trying to maintain a routine. If I had to go to work today, I would have gotten up, I would have gone to work. I probably would have been late, honestly. You know, I would have functioned as much as possible. Honestly, I'm kind of grateful I'm furloughed right now, just because when I go to work, the 8 hours that I'm at work, I'm not able to work on myself and work on this cycle that I'm in. which prolongs the cycle for me. So what would normally be a 1-day cycle of depressive state of being ends up being 2-3 weeks long, because I have to interrupt that cycle with work. Being home, being by myself most of the time, I have to actually turn my focus inward, which is kind of good, because that means I have to work on myself. I have to realize, and I have to be able, like, there's nothing else to focus on. So this is day 6. I didn't think this cycle would last this long, but that's okay. I'll tell you this right now. If you are in the same boat as I am, and you're dealing with your own kind of depressive, I hate keep calling it a cycle, but I mean, it is. It's a cyclical thing. If you have depression, it's always going to come back. It's never going to go away. But the way that we deal with it, and the way that we handle it, should change over time. And that's really what it is you learn how to manage the symptoms and manage the things that are associated with depression, in that cycle. And so, yeah, here's to today. I'm hoping that this appointment will get me jump started on the long list of things I still have to do since day 4. They're still there. And so I just I think the more that I record these videos, the more that I think that honestly it's going to help someone who is going through the same thing I'm going through. Not because I want to be a social media star, not because I want to be a YouTube star. No. If one person is helped by what I go through, and the fact that I share what I go through, it makes it all worth it for me. If someone says, your tip about breathing through anxiety, or your tip about picking yourself up and just starting over, really helped me. That's all I want. That's all I care about. Or your tip about going to therapy. Some of you need to go to therapy. I'm just saying, therapy works wonders. And so if it helps just one person, I'm okay with that. If it doesn't, that's fine too, because this is therapeutic. Anyway, so here's to today. Hopefully it's going to get better, and hopefully this cycle will come to an end, or at least, be put in the back burner, in a healthy way, So. Want to see more? Subscribe here to my YouTube channel and turn on the notifications so you are notified every time I drop a video. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for all the latest updates and paintings. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.